Hello students, today you're going to watch a video over section 5.2 in Algebra, and it is called Using Intercepts. Now let's talk a little bit about an intercept. An intercept is the point where our line crosses the x-axis and the y-axis. So you're making sure to write all this down in your notes. Wherever my line crosses the x-axis is called the x-intercept, and wherever it crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. And we can look at an equation of a line and figure out what those intercepts are, and then graph the line based on those intercepts. So let's just draw a simple coordinate plane, and we have, I'm going to put a dot there, and I'm going to put a dot here. And so we know that for this y-intercept, the point is going to start with a 0 because the x value is always 0 in a y-intercept. I don't go to the left or right, I just go straight up. And so we're going to call that a. 0 comma a would be my, y-intercept there. Now with the x-intercept over here, we know we're going to go across something and we're going to call that b, but I don't go up or down any, so we know that's going to be 0. So my x-intercept is going to be b comma 0, and that b is going to represent whatever number it is if I had a real graph. And for my y-intercept, it's going to be 0 comma a, and the a is going to be whatever number I happen to be on if I had a real graph that I was actually looking at or creating. So again, it's important to know that with a y-intercept, the x is always 0, and with an x-intercept, the y is always 0. That's important to know for us to use in the next part of graphing equations with intercepts. So let's say I'm given the equation of a line 2x plus 5y equals 20, and we remember from yesterday that this is in standard form. So 2x plus 5y equals 20. I want to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept to figure out how I could graph this line. So I know that for my x-intercept, the y value is 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So I have 2x plus 5 times 0 equals 20. Now I'm going to find the x, to find the x-intercept. I know that 5 times 0 is 0, so I can just cross that out. If 2x equals 20, I divide both sides by 2, so x equals 10. So my x-intercept is 10. Now if I needed to write that as an ordered pair, then it would be 10, comma, 0. That's where my line crosses the x-axis. So let's do the same thing for the y-intercept. We remember from yesterday, or from just a minute ago, that the y-intercept has an x value of 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x to find my y-intercept. So 2 times 0 plus 5y equals 20. Okay, I know that 2 times 0 is 0, so I'm left with 5y equals 20. Divide both sides by 5. Ooh, that's bad. And y equals 4. So my y-intercept is 4, and if I wrote that as an ordered pair, it would be 0, comma 4. So now what I could do is I could actually graph this line on this cute, nice little simple order of coordinate plane. And I know that 10 comma 0, so I'm going to just guess that 10 is out here, and that'd be 10 comma 0. And if that's 10, then this is about 4, so this would be 0 comma 4, and that would be my y-intercept, and then I could connect that line, and that would be the graph of this equation 2x plus 5y equals 20. Once again, using the properties that I know, that the 0 value for an x-intercept, the y value for an x-intercept is 0, and the x value for a y-intercept is 0. Plugging those in my equation to find what I need to find my intercepts. So here's a problem that we're going to use. Tickets to the football game are $3 for adults and $2 for students. Last week, $54 was collected. The equation 3x plus 2y equals 54 represents this situation. Use intercepts to graph this function. So, I have my equation, 3x plus 2y equals 54, and now I need to use intercepts to graph it. But before we do that, I'm going to give you about a minute to write this problem down so that you have it in your composition book. Okay, that wasn't exactly a minute, but here we go. So I have my equation, 3x plus 2y equals 54, and I need to find the intercepts, and then what we're going to do with those is interpret what do they really mean. So let's find the intercepts first, and then we'll interpret. So with the x-intercept, I know that y equals 0. So I'm going to just have 3x equals 54. So x equals, 3 goes into 54 18 times. So x is 18. So my x-intercept is 18. For my y-intercept, I know x equals 0, so I'm going to just be left with 2y equals 54. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm just in my head mentally plugging in, and I don't need to write it down if I already know that this is going to be 0 for my y-intercept. And so when I divide, y equals 27. So my y-intercept now is 27. My x-intercept is 18. So I could graph that. I'm just going to draw a nice and beautiful coordinate plane. I hope your lines are a little bit straighter than mine. And I know that my x-intercept is 18, so we're going to go by nines. So that's 9, 18, 27, 9, 18, 27. My x-intercept is 18, so it's going to go there. My y-intercept is 27, it's going to go there. And then I could graph this line. I'm just doing it dotted so that it's not crooked. I graphed that line to represent this situation. Now, let's talk about what do those intercepts mean? What does this point of 0, 27 actually mean? Think about that just a second. And I'm thinking and hoping that you came up with is the y-intercept represents when I only sold student tickets. If no adults bought any tickets, and the only people that bought tickets were students, then I had 27 of students buy tickets. So what does the x represent? It's a great question. Look at the x-intercept. The x stands for adults, so the x-intercept of 18 would represent that only adults bought tickets. There were no student tickets sold at all, so only adults bought tickets, and that would mean 18 adults bought tickets. Now all of these points in the line here would be combinations of student tickets and adult tickets. But the intercepts represent when only one of each, because this one represents, the x-intercept represents student tickets, and the y-intercept is, the y-axis is adult tickets. Okay? So again, we've got to be able to interpret what do those intercepts mean. And you can look at the graph by saying, well, when one value is 0, then the other value is left. Those would be the interpretation of intercepts. So here are your two practice problems for tonight, just to let me know how much you understood from this lesson. The first one says, number 1, 4x plus 5y equals 40. Find the x-intercept and find the y-intercept. The second problem is to draw this just quadrant 1 coordinate plane and to graph the equations, graph the equation in number 1 using the intercepts. So here we're finding the intercepts, down here we're graphing it using the intercepts. And what I need you to do, as soon as you finish these in your composition book, use your iPad to take a picture of them and to use the turn in button in Edmodo to submit it to me. Don't add it as a post at the end of the assignment, but make sure you hit that turn in button so you can add your picture and turn it in. If you put it anywhere else, the whole world is going to see it, and I only want to be the only one to see it. So turn in button after you take the picture to submit your practice problems. Make sure that they are submitted before class tomorrow.